Hey everybody, Key Dynamite here, and hello to each and every one of you out there watching. Today, I look like a Star Wars character, but I'm perfectly fine with that. But today I'm going to talk about Captain America Civil War. To me, this movie is more than the Sokovia Accords. I saw some arguments saying, well, the Sokovia Accords was the only thing that caused like Team Iron Man, Team Cap. I don't agree with that. I think this movie has different themes of how we view friendships and relationships, sure, ideologies, politics, but I also think that, yeah, it's not just one thing. It was the relationships, the friendships, how you take accountability, how you hold yourself accountable, and ideology. Obviously, we have the Sokovia Accords, right, where Iron Man is saying, hey, we need someone to keep us in check, which I honestly, like, I totally agree. I think it was Rhodey who said, that's arrogant, Cap. And it is kind of arrogant. Now, I never agreed that it should be the government to do it. What I agreed was, I can understand and I can agree with Tony saying, we need something. I think that instead of just pushing Tony at every turn, I feel like Steve could have come up with an idea of an alternative or sat down with him and been like, okay, let's come up with something else. But before they had the chance to sign it. But then Peggy died and then Steve went to the funeral. But I'm saying, Steve, you could have sat down and you could have been like, okay, Tony, let's figure this out. You're my friend, you're my teammate, let's do this. But he didn't. He got preoccupied, which is understandable, but also he did not give any alternatives. So, you know, Steve, come on now. So as far as relationships and friendships, this is where I get, like, upset. We look at Wanda and what she did. While she was trying to make sure a bomb didn't go off, it exploded into a building of innocent people, right? We can say that either way someone was going to die because the bomb was, you know, there on the ground and then she put it up. But I'm not saying, of course she didn't do it on purpose, but what I'm saying is that when Tony gave her a home in the Avengers mansion, I think that was a good idea because it wasn't a good idea. I don't care how you try to spin it. It wasn't a good idea for Wanda to be out there grocery shopping for paprika. Like, girl, people know your face and they know that you just blew up a building, albeit by mistake, but it's not a good idea for you to just be going out there and gallivanting looking for recipes, which is why Vision was like, not really a good idea. Now, what made me angry was later, Steve is having a conversation about an olive branch. He gives him half of a pen set that belonged to Howard, and he was like, this is an olive branch. And he asked about Wanda, and Tony says, oh, she's at the Avengers compound. And Steve is like, oh, just when I thought you were seeing the right side of things. And it's like, well, Steve, what is the other alternative? Do you want to take in a late teen, early 20s? Are you her father now, Steve? Like, girl, like, miss me with that, because Wanda was not suffering in that huge Avengers compound. That girl probably had a pool, she had a jacuzzi, she had that nice kitchen, she was kicking it with Viz. Okay, she was fine. So don't give me that, Steve. And I thought that was a weird way for things to turn for him, for that to be the last straw. So I was like, Wanda, first of all, Tony's right. Wanda should not be out. She should be, you know, minding her own business until things cool down. Okay, that was the best idea for Wanda. And then when Steve said, hey, to break up the set, and I was like, boy, first of all, don't bet you trying to be petty, first of all, because you wanted him to try to make things work and Tony was trying to make things work. Honestly, I feel like Tony kept on trying to meet Steve halfway during the whole movie, and Steve was like, nah, I'm good. Actually, I'm gonna do things my way anyway. And I can understand how he doesn't trust the government. Of course, because Hydra took over the government. He's seen it happen. But I'm saying he was looking at Tony as an enemy as opposed to a friend that was trying to find a way for things to work better and for there to be some kind of thing where they check in with each other. And I'm just like, Steve, how are you not getting this? Then we have this scene where Steve goes to find Bucky and they're chasing, they're in a tunnel of traffic, and Black Panther and Bucky are causing all of this insane traffic. Cars are being crashed, Bucky's jumping in the middle of cars, people having to press on their brake, pieces of the bridge, rocks falling down. I'm like, so Steve, you're telling me, sweets, that y'all don't need a way to make sure y'all aren't causing all this kind of havoc all the time? Like, there's casualties, of course there's gonna be casualties, but y'all really did not need to be doing all this. Like, Steve. So yeah, I just don't understand how Steve was like, we can hold each other accountable. Dude, there has to be some kind of system. You can't hold yourself accountable because, Steve, let's be real, you were not trying to hold yourself accountable. Okay? You were running through the streets in that car, a whole scene chase to get Bucky. Now, I understand that's your friend, that's your blast from the past, that's your bestie, but boo, you are honestly causing so much damage throughout this whole movie when Tony is trying to not do that. So yeah, this goes way more than the Sokovia Accords for me. Like, this is what I'm talking about when I say accountability. So what made me even more angry and what made me side with Tony more is when Ross is like, tell me where Cap is. This is when, after Tony talked to Falcon and was like, hey, where are you going? Also, in Clint trying to be, oh, all hail, it's His Majesty when he's in jail. First of all, Clint, I'm gonna need you to take several receipts because, of course, it should have been you. It should have been you instead of Black Widow. Instead of Black Widow. I will say it 1,000 and 110 times. It should have been Clint. What makes me laugh every time is Paul Rudd's character, Ant-Man. He tries to get smart too, and then Tony says, who are you again? Like, I miss this character so much. Yeah, that was rude. I love that. I love that whole scene when Tony goes to talk to Falcon. So Falcon is like, you have to go as a friend, and Tony's like, 100%. So Tony goes and finds Steve, and he tells Ross, oh, I don't know anything that's going on. I'm, you know, like, you handle that, whatever. Tony goes to find Steve, and he tells him, this is a truce. I'm trying to, like, I believe that something's going on. Let me help you. So then we have Tony find out about his parents. Now this scene gets my blood boiling every time, because Steve had plenty of time to tell Tony, hey, let me sit down with you. Let me talk to you about Bucky. He's been brainwashed a lot. His whole life, like the remainder of his life. How old was Bucky when he went in the war? Like early 20s? Hey, or maybe even late teens. But hey, I just wanted to let you know this, and that. This is what happened to him. He wasn't in the right mind, and he was the one that killed your parents, but it was not of his own accord. I'm so sorry. I know this is shocking for you. No. Tony comes as a friend. He didn't rat Steve out. He made a truce. He said, I'm here with you and Bucky. I'm here to help you find out what's going on. And he asked, you know, of course the video, he sees the video, and he asked he asked Steve to his face. He asks Steve to his face, did you know? Now, Tony did not snap after. He just looked at Bucky, of course angry, but then he looked at Steve. And that was the trigger when Steve lied to his face. And he said, did you know? And he said, oh, I didn't know it was him. Steve said, don't BS me, Rogers. Did you know? And then Steve says, yes. That is the trigger. Knowing your teammate, your friend has lied to you, not straight to your face, about your parents' murder and his best friend doing it, brainwash or no, he should have let Tony know. And that is what made Tony snap. He said, oh, not only did he kill my parents, now you lied to my face about it, and it's making me angrier. So yeah, I'm gonna go off. And then what made me angrier was that, first of all, let me just give it up for Tony, my boy, because he was holding his own against two super soldiers. Like, he was holding his own, and he told, let me tell you something, if it was one of them against Tony, I feel like Tony could have taken him because he was busting them up. But then we have Bucky pulling out his arc reactor, which is helping him survive, and then you have Steve who takes his shield and puts it on his heart. Like, Steve, hey, not only can you almost kill your friend and your teammate, you're just like reckless out in these streets. Like, you really don't care. Like, so that really made me angry. And I remember distinctly watching in the theaters, seething angry at Steve. Like, oh, never at Chris Evans, but angry. Like, the gall, the nerve, the audacity. Like, he came to you to help to do a truce, and you didn't have the guts, the chutzpah to tell him, hey, let's have a talk. I need to explain something. Now, Zemo sitting over there like, hey, this is exactly what I wanted to happen. So yeah, I think it's definitely more than the Sokovia Accords for you to pick a side. It's very complex in the way we handle relationships, because Tony, even though Tony started out as this selfish person, he took a look at himself and was like, okay, I have caused problems. Us as a team has caused problems. Even though we're kicking butt and taking names and like saving the day, at the end of the day, there are also people who suffered from us kicking butt. And for him to take a look at that and say, okay, there has to be some way to keep it at a better minimum, I guess. But for Steve to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna hold myself accountable, and I think we're good enough to do that. Yeah, it just didn't sit well with me that Steve was not like, yeah, I understand where you're, yeah, 100%, let's do this, but not the government, because Hydra, and I don't trust the government at all. I'm like, Steve, baby boy, if you have reservations, come up with some solutions, okay? Instead, you are out here chasing Bucky, forgetting about the rest of your teammates. And I just like, Steve. Yeah, that's the movie that just gets me angry every single time, because the way Steve was treating and using people and for the benefit of Bucky, sir, have several seats. It's not all about you. I know that you're 70 years into the future, but you need to acclimate. I can understand you wanted to. Now let me say something. If Steve had went to Tony and been like, here's the rundown, he's being framed, I need your help with this, Tony would have bent backwards and been like, 100%. Let's move some things around. Let's sneaks. Tony breaks rules, Steve. So why is this a big deal? Like, just tell him what's going on. And another point, Team Cap was destructive in the airplane, in the plane hangar airport scene. His team was far more destructive than Iron Man. You got Clint making cars fall. You got Ant-Man stepping on trucks, blowing things up. I'm like, and this is what Tony was talking about. Someone's car is wrecked. Like, at least 20 people's car is wrecked because Clint thought it was cool. And that movie also makes me give Wanda side-eye, because, sweetie, you were fine. You were fine being in that compound. You understood until Clint showed up. And also, disrespect, Wanda. destroying Tony's Avenger property. That's y'all supposed to, that y'all go there for training and what else, whatever, home, chilling. She done sent Vision to the ground. Yeah, let me stop, because this movie just makes me mad at Steve. Wonder Woman reference. As far as relationships and friendships go, trying to keep everyone safe, trying to keep everyone from fighting. Tony tried several times, and Steve was like, nah, I woke up today and I chose violence. I chose defiance. I chose Bucky. So yeah, that's it for me. Sokovia Accords, that's not what makes me go either way. It's a handful of all the themes that were in Civil War. And I just think Tony did a better job with trying to keep everything together, and people just being like, nah. I'm like, Clint, you didn't even have no dog in this fight. Why are you here? Should have been you. Should have been you, Clint. And I don't blame Black Widow. Black Widow was just like, just go. I'm tired. I'm sick of this fighting. I don't want to be fighting my friends. Just whatever. It's whatever. And then not to mention, if Steve would have just sat down and talked to Tony, my man Rhodey wouldn't have been crashing down to the floor. Every action has an equal opposite reaction. Okay, let me stop because now I'm going into Hamilton. But let me know what you guys think. I know you're like, why are you doing this video 4 years later? But I just wanted to talk about it because every time I watch the movie, it just is like, Steve, you son of a gun. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And like and comment your thoughts. That's all that I have to say. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful morning, good afternoon, evening, night. Kira Dynamite out.